in this country, I believe you're from the U.S., there's no other rights that you can fight for. It's already won.
I mean, we would look at reproductive rights as well, honey. So there's like some reproductive rights currently that females don't have that males do have, honey. And we would also look at the definition of feminism, which is not just the legal aspect, but also the economical and social equity between the genders.
I tell you what, first wave and even second wave, feminism I can actually go with. But it's the third and fourth and current feminism that's crossing the line. You just don't want equality. You just want power.
What line? I think you're just yapping right now. So I said it's about
I'm telling the truth.
I was also talking about the economical and social equality between the genders, which is currently non-existent. So therefore, feminism still has something to fight for. It's pretty simple.
Like what? Women playing in the NFL?
Gender-based violence, the wage gap would be an example. And we can also look at femicide, our word culture. We can look at gender requirements and social expectations that are putting harm on women. We can look at patriarchal structures and toxic masculinity that has created a lot of harm for women. Yeah.
You know what though? A true feminist that wants equality, wants equal rights, will also stand up for how men are being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Being treated? Yeah.
I would say, treated.
I don't know how you responded to anything that I said. Like you just started something else, which I agree that men have certain issues currently. And I think all men's rights issues stem from the patriarchy and toxic masculinity.
Like what?
Feminists do stand for that. Like we acknowledge, for example, that within our work culture, that men are often seen as only the perpetrator and never the victim, which can create a lot of harm. We see that the unaliving rate between men is often a result of suppressed emotions and the inability to make connections, stoicism. So yeah, I do think that the patriarchy also harms men, but that's what feminists stand for. But you still haven't responded to me about all the social and economical disparities that I have outlined and that feminists fight for.
Okay, give me an example of inequality.
She just gave you multiple.
No, it's specific. She's being vague.
I did.
Okay, the pay gap.
I said femicide, I said the pay gap, I said gender-based violence, I said social attitudes towards women, like gender requirements and social attitudes towards women. Those are all.
Well, okay, let's talk about the pay gap. You know that very credible economists say that the gender gap is debunked because men tend to work longer hours and tend to have more, I'd say, higher paying jobs like in engineering, science, professional sports, and all that other stuff.
Okay, for you. Okay, so if you just want to say, if you account for all the things, of all the factors, it doesn't make it true anymore. Like what's really important is to acknowledge that there is a pay gap, and within a capitalist society, somebody that doesn't have as many economical opportunities than another gender category will have disadvantages. So we can acknowledge.
Well, I'll give you a personal example.
Chris, wait. Can we acknowledge that a gender gap does exist?
I'll give you a personal example.
It's a yes or no.
When there was a time where I was younger that me and my mother was making.
Honey.
I'm sorry, Chiara, he's just performing and he's not responding to you, so I'm muting.
I am responding about the gender pay gap.
Honey, I asked you a question. Does the gender pay gap exist? Yes or no?
No, it does not.
So there is not an inequality in economic opportunities and accumulation of wealth between the genders.
No, there's not.
There's not. So it's all these statistics and studies that show that there is, in fact, a difference between men and women when it comes to how much wealth they have and have acquired is wrong, right?
Exactly. It's been debunked.
I just want to point out that
first of all, it's illegal to pay women.
He claims that it's been debunked. I'd like to see the source and the actual evidence of it being debunked.
Go off of what Thomas Sowell has came up with.
Sowell is not an economist.
Hey, listen,
economist.
He's a very intelligent man.
He is not an economist. You claim that high-level economists debunked the gender pay gap. Thomas Sowell is not an economist.
You just asked me to give you a source, and I gave
The
you
claim you made, which was
Now you're
high-level
discrediting
economists.
my source.
No, the claim you made
Because-
was high-level economists have debunked it. Thomas Sowell is not a high-level
The whole
economist.
problem.
Then what is
that I have
Thomas
right
Sowell
now-
then?
Chris, I have a problem here right now because I asked you a question. I didn't ask you I asked you a question, and it's very clear. I'm asking you if a pay gap exists. That simply means
No, it doesn't exist. In fact, it's
I
illegal.
don't know if it doesn't go into your noggin right now. That's okay. I can explain it one more time. Do you think, like, we can talk about the factors in a second and whether or not that you think it's valid or not, but does a pay gap exist? Yes or no?
No, it doesn't exist. Matter of fact, it's illegal.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying, and I'm going to try one more time. Do
can't.
men overall make more money than women?
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, okay, I'll give you a personal example.
No, I'm not.
There was a time
No, I don't
when
do that.
me and my mother made the same per hour, but I made more money in the year than she did because I was able to work overtime.
Bro, I really don't need that. I'm asking you a very
It's personal proof.
I understand that individually there can be instances where a woman makes more money than a man. I'm asking, on average, do men make more money than women? Yes or no?
That depends on their occupation.
Bro, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking overall, do men make more money than women? Yes or no?
No, they don't. It depends on what they do and what they're being paid for.
That's not what I'm asking.
So you're telling me a female doctor makes less money than a male doctor?
Do 18-year-olds make more money on average than 25-year-olds? Yes or no?
Depends on their work experience.
Bro, you're being so disingenuous.
How am I being disingenuous?
Chiara, can I get a big
Oh,
screen real quick?
listen, if an 18-year-old kid comes out of high school and gets drafted by the major leagues in baseball,
On average, on average. Oh my God. Go ahead.
Well, okay, if you're 25 years old and you're 18
So in
18-year-olds would be making like
Sorry, I'm talking now. In 2022, women earned an average of 82% of what men earned overall. That's the average. They earned 82% of what men earned.
I want to point out too, like Chris, when Chiara is saying on.
What's this source?
Stop talking. Give him the source, and then I'll continue.
What's the
It's
source?
right there.
Pew Research Center.
Pew Research Center.
Okay.
Your analysis. Hold on.
Stop, Chris. Calm down. When Chiara's saying on average, she's not asking for like individual cases in which an 18-year-old might make more.
Well, then how do you want me to answer this?
I'm explaining it to you. If you would please be quiet, Boomer.
I'm a Gen Xer.
When she says on average, she's referring to the aggregate amount. So on average, do you think that across all of the 18-year-olds in the United States, that they make less than all of the 25-year-olds in the United States?
On average?
Yes.
I would say, yeah, due to their lack of work experience.
Yeah, it wasn't that fucking hard, was it, for you to understand?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, this
is
entire
the
time
point.
Chiara asked you that question and you went, well, if they get a Major League Baseball,
Yeah, exactly.
on average. So if these 18-year-olds wouldn't dispute the average.
Okay, yeah, but the fact is that women are not paid less than men.
They are, though. Okay. And this is why I wanted to ask at the beginning so we can create a baseline. A baseline is right now for me that you agree that on average, men have accumulated and hold more wealth than women do. Yes or no?
No, that's not true.
So
But
women
it
have more
is-
money than men.
Bro. Oh,
Some women, yeah.
No, on average. Okay, I'll explain this to you again really slowly, Chris. Hopefully you can understand.
On average,
Stop talking.
it's the same.
All of the women over 18 in the United States make more than all of the men over 18 in the United States.
They make the same on average.
Source.
You tell me your source where I'm
I
wrong.
just gave you the source, Chris. I just gave you the source. Men earn, on average, 82% more than women. On average.
Why? Why is that? Why does that happen? Because it's illegal.
about in a second. We can talk about that in a second, about all the factors that are relevant. But first, you have to agree that comparatively, men hold more money and more wealth on average than women do in this society.
On what basis?
The source that Jovan just gave, Pookie.
Okay, listen, you're doing this runaround argument to where you're not understanding
We're asking you a very
that
clear question.
a man does not. Okay, if a female and a male work the same job, the same hours, they are paid the same. Period.
That's not what we're asking you.
That's not what we're asking. And also, even though in those instances, we can still see a disparity, but we're not even there yet, Pookie. We're really not. We're currently just still talking about the fact that women hold less money in society than men do as a category.
Well, maybe back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, but not today.
Right now. Like, can you see what Joanne is putting on this? The gender pay gap in the US hasn't changed much in 2 decades. So men earn on average 82% more. I'm sorry, women earn.
Hold on, I can't, the way that my phone is, I can't completely read this article.
I'll promise you, I'll read it to you right now. Women earn 82% of what men do. So men hold 16% more wealth than women do.
Okay, so are you when you're asking, Chris, when you're asking why, are you now conceding that it's true?
I'm not conceding anything.
Then why are you asking why? If we can't agree?
Why is that so?
Chris, if you can't even agree on the premise that this is the case in the first place, why are you asking why it happens?
Listen, just because it's some article doesn't make it true.
Okay, what is your counter source?
Okay, because the fact is, a man and a woman doing the same work make the same amount of money.
Shh, Grandpa. Shh. What is your?
I'm not your grandpa. I'm a Gen Xer.
What is your?
I was born in '71.
What is your source, Grandpa?
What's my source? The fact that it's federally illegal to pay someone less for the same work.
That's not a source.
That is a
source. It's not. Also, just FYI, no, it's not.
Okay, if this is true, okay, let me calm down.
That's why
let me calm down before this old man has a heart attack.
Hold on. Let's just mention the fact that some people who've been in a job longer, even if they're in the same position, earn more than people just starting in that position. It is not illegal.
Of course, that's common sense.
So then it is not illegal.
If I've been at a job for 2 years, and you just come in, of course, I'm going to make more money.
So then it is not illegal.
Because I'm
to pay
experienced.
someone more for the same job. So you were agreeing with me. It's not illegal.
If a man and a woman walk in to a job, and they both apply, both get hired, they're going to be paid the same. There's many factors in why there's some payments.
We can talk about the factors first, but first, Chris, wait. First, we have to acknowledge the baseline that there is a pay disparity and that there is an overall disparity of wealth accumulation between men and women. Otherwise, we cannot proceed with this conversation. I promise you.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will agree to that fact, but I will say this, it's due to other determining factors why there's a difference.
We can talk about different factors.
Exactly.
But yeah, we can talk about that. And
you're going off one basis is your whole argument.
Wait. I'm not done talking. Chris, I understand that in your mind, you have seen pay gap debunked somewhere, and therefore you believe it no longer exists. It doesn't matter if you think that it's justified or not to have a pay gap. First, we need to see and understand that there is a pay gap. It exists. Very simple.
Chiara, take your big screen back. I want to see your face.
But like I said, there's a lot of determining factors why people are paid what they're paid. Because if the gender pay gap was true, follow me here. If women were getting 82% of what a man makes, every company would hire women so they can get 18% more on profits.
That's not what the source
out of their payroll.
That is not what the source said, Chris.
No, I'm telling you other than a source. If it was true that women get paid 82 cents on the dollar than a man does for the same job, every company would hire women.
You already said it. I can address that now. Why do you think that people don't buy all of their stuff at Dollar General?
Freedom of choice.
No, it's because sometimes they prefer quality over something cheap. And if they believe that men are more qualified, then they obviously would choose the men rather than just like the cheaper option. That's not how they think.
That's freedom of choice. I have a choice. So I have a choice to either go in to Lowe's or Home Depot based on their prices. Basis on their prices, I have a choice where I shop.
Hold on, Chris. So what you're not understanding is that you just said that they would hire all women if this was the case. Stop talking. Chair gave you the example, and then you said, oh, well, that's because freedom of choice. So are you now conceding that just because women might get paid less doesn't mean they're necessarily going to get hired more? Did someone mute him? Because
it's very simple. Some people don't just always get like the cheapest stuff. That is not how we work. We oftentimes prefer quality, or what we believe is quality, perceived quality, over something being just cheap or costless.
I.e., freedom of choice.
yeah, so you're conceding that it exists and that it's freedom of choice.
I just said that, yes, there probably is a disparity on what men and women make, but there's so many determining factors why there's a difference.
I just explained to you why your logic doesn't follow. Just because you think, they don't actively think, oh, I'm going to take this woman because I can pay her less. There's oftentimes gender-based discrimination, even though it is legally outlined, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. They still have perception that men are more qualified and are therefore hiring men. They think that women, they're going to start a family, they're going to be pregnant, they're going to be more out, they're not as qualified for the job. So therefore, this is one of the reasons.
All right, let me ask you a question real quick. Is the nursing and medical field more dominated by women or men?
Women?
Nursing. Nursing.
When we talk about just health, nursing, yeah, then.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, do you understand why that is, Chris?
Why? I want to hear your reason.
Yeah, because
why.
women have been assigned like the role in society of the caregiver, and that they are the person that like does that sort of work. Like it is literally gender roles that not force women, but basically push women into these jobs predominantly, because it sort of aligns with what their gender role is.
It's society constructed, like from a very, very young age, women are being put into the caregiver role. Like young girls are given certain tools to assume the caregiver role. And I think it's also funny that you bring up nursing. It is a very much underpaid job. So we can.
That's what we're talking about here.
It's related to the pay gap, dumbass.
We're gonna talk about it because women's work is undervalued. That also includes domestic work. That also includes like all women-dominated fields that are being undervalued, which contribute to the disparities that I argue against. I'm in favor of creating like a market where people are adequately compensated for their labor. And in this current society, we don't see that.
Okay, so basically you're telling, let me understand this. Basically, you're telling.
Can you read what's behind, like on the screen right now?
So hold on, I'm asking a question to understand this.
Read what's on the screen. Out loud.
Registered nurses identifying as male reported a median salary of $90,000 versus $76,000 of RNs who are identified as female.
Okay, tell me why. What created that pay gap?
Misogyny, Pookie.
How if they're being paid the same?
What?
Based on if a nurse, you're telling me
Chris,
that a male nurse walking in on the first day they're employed makes more money than the same female on her first day.
Chris, read what is above Jovan's head right now.
I read it already.
Are 90,000 and 76,000 the same number?
But what I'm trying to tell you
Are
is,
90,000 and
are nurses paid by the hour?
90,000 and 76,000.
I'm asking you a question. Are nurses paid by the hour?
I asked you a question first. Are 90,000 and 76,000 the first number, or the same number?
Listen, okay, yes, they're different numbers, but there's a reason why, there's a logical reason why there's a gap like that, because men work on the average 44 hours a week, where women tend to work just a point below 40.
That happens in nursing.
Listen, if me and you both finish nursing school,
what's the source that happens in nursing? What's the source that happens in nursing?
What's that?
What is the source that happens in nursing, and that is the reason for the pay gap in nursing? What is the source?
Because nurses are paid by the hour.
What is the source? But you're saying, oh, men work more as nurses. Give me the source for that.
Men work more because, I will tell you, because women.
No, give me the source that men work more. Give me the source that men work more as nurses.
I cannot look it up. Okay, I'll tell you what. This guy here in the box, go type in the average hours per week, man versus women.
This is your claim. This is your claim.
Do it.
Talking about nursing.
Do it, and there's my source.
Your claim, Chris.
There's my claim because it's sourced. Men work longer hours than women, and they're paid more. Just like when me and my mother made $12 an hour,
Don't care about your
I
mom.
made $6,000 more than she did.
Don't care about your mom. Don't give a fuck about your mom even. What is your source?
Hey, you know what? Your feminism is the reason why I'm investing in cat products. Because the majority of you are all going to die old cat ladies.
Yep, don't have a source. Thank you.
Okay, I have a
Oh, you just look it up for me.
That's not a source.
I have a
I
question.
don't have access to it.
Look it up. You have a phone.
If I access this information, it's going to cut me off.
You know, you can go out of the app and come back.
I don't have an iPhone. I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
Men, don't go. No, just type in average male workers versus female per week.
It's your claim, not mine.
It's true.
Wait a second.
Because women, mothers take more time.
Chris, you are yelling. Bro.
Are you telling me? Okay, let me do this.
You're yelling. You can talk to us in a normal voice. This is just a screaming match right now. I don't want it. Can you please turn it down like 20 notches, please? I'm begging you.
I'd rather have a fucking cat than most men, bro.
You have to and I love it. All right, Chris. Are we okay now?
Yes. Okay, but I will say this.
I did the work for you. I did the work for you, okay?
Okay, look, on the average hours that men work compared
I just did
You've
the
repeated
work
this
for you,
claim
and I
10
have to
times.
let me talk, bro. This is not going to work like that. I just did the work for you, and I'm going to explain to you what I have found, okay? So there is an exact 2-hour disparity between female nurses and male nurses. And if we are generous and say that everybody works 52 weeks out of the year, 52, right? And then times 2, and then times like an hourly average rate, still does not come even close to the pay disparity seen between men and women.
Okay, hold on. Let me do some basic math right here.
I already did it.
All right, we'll just say both nurses are making $20 an hour. All right. All right, hold on. All right, $20 an hour. You said 2,
Chris, you don't
so
need to
that's
do this out loud.
$40 times 52, 0,
Yes.
8, 0, 20.
Please mute him.
Okay, so there's 20. Okay, so there's $2,000. There's 2,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that just debunked your whole pay gap.
No. No, stop it immediately. Do you think that $2,000 is coming even close to the 14,000
17,000
pay gap that is seen between male nurses and female nurses?
Yeah, Chris, is 17,000 and 2,000 the same number? 14,000.
Yeah.
Is 14,000 and 2,000 the same number?
Understand that it's federally illegal to pay women less than the same work they do as a man.
I think I'm in a fever
It's
dream.
federally illegal.
There's no way. Chris, do you understand the difference between $2,000 and $14,000? Is there a difference?
Okay, well, let's go back to our argument. Maybe those men worked more than just 2 hours more per week
No, because we're
and
looking
made
at
more money.
Stop, Chris. We're looking at average rates. You're trying to get into the individual again. I see you trying to do that, but this is not how it works.
Listen, I know for a fact nurses are paid more than 2. What's the average? Okay, what is the average pay per hour for a nurse?
Okay, so
What's average? We'll do the math.
No, let's take a deep breath through our nose and out our mouth. We got this. We don't have to yell. We don't have to yell because we're talking about averages right now. Average median salary is 90,000 in male nurses and 76,000 in female nurses. Average hourly pay, Chris, please listen. Listening ears right now. Listening ears. Mouth shut. Listening ears up. Female nurses work on average 37 hours, and male nurses work on average 39 hours, which is a 2-hour disparity. And we have already contemplated what that would look like based on a $20 hourly rate.
Okay, but here's the thing though, for us to correctly determine the pay gap, I need to know how much they are average paid. What is the average pay per hour for a nurse? I know they make more than, because if it's more than 20, the gap narrows.
No, it doesn't change.
Yes, it does. Okay, let's just do 35 an hour. 35 an hour. That's $70 per extra week times 52. 2 times 0 is 0. That's 14. 0. What's that? 35. 35. All right, if they're making $35 an hour, that's $3,600 of difference per year.
1,400. Like even if we go to 35, which is a very high hourly rate, that is
No, listen, trust me.
close. That is
How much they
not
make?
even close. That's not even close. And also,
Listen.
we can calculate their average hourly rate. It doesn't mean because if there's only a 2-hour disparity between the two.
Yeah, it adds up.
Hey, Chris, wait. Shh. Remember, listening ears, mouth shut really quick.
Okay, Mom.
If there's only a 2-hour disparity, it doesn't matter how high their wage is. It would never be this big apart. It would never fall 14,000 apart with an only 2-hour disparity if both work at least 37 to 39 hours. It is
All right,
not
let me ask you this. All right, you made a statement. I got your statement. I understand. All right, let me ask you this. Why is it that female nurses work 2 hours less than male nurses?
Because female nurses or females on average are more likely to be burdened with childcare, which is unpaid labor within society, which we can talk about too if you would like to. But I think we should really stick to like this right now because we're not even over that right now. You can't concede that there is
I'm for paying a mother her child leave. A woman should have at least 60 days of maternal leave, and a father should have at least 2 weeks.
We are not talking about maternal leave, Chris. We are talking about like women who have to go. Stop talking. We're talking about like women that have to leave work early, for example, to go pick up their kids from daycare, because that's often been assigned to women as a women's job.
Exactly.
Or have to go. Stop talking. Or have to go.
I'm agreeing with you.
Stop talking, Chris. Why the fuck are you yelling, you petulant child? You're 50 fucking 2. Calm down.
Because it's ignoramus. You trying to defend the pay gap when you just said that men work more hours, hence they make more money. You just debunked the pay gap right there.
At your
Men make more money because they work more hours.
At your big age, you are.
That's the pay gap.
You are 50 fucking 2. Like, calm the fuck down, Grandpa.
Chris, I don't think you understand what we're saying. You don't understand anything because 2 hours does not justify. Wait, 2 hours does not justify the disparity. A, B. The disparity is explained with other labor what women are performing in society, including domestic labor and childcare, which is not compensated. Therefore, a pay gap exists because of the patriarchal structures that don't allow women to create economic equality. Okay.
It's all men's fault. We're the oppressors.
Yeah.
Women have never done anything.
Yeah. True.
Women don't do nothing wrong.
True.
Hence, they never take account.
True. True.
Very true.
You got it.
Hey, good luck growing old with your cat.
Chris, you are too fucking.
Good luck growing old.
Chris, you are too old for this.